Hello and welcome to Back to Basic Yoga. This is the third one in an ongoing series. So welcome back if you have done the other ones, and welcome back or simply just welcome to mariegreenyoga YouTube channel. Today we are going to stretch our shoulders and our legs with this practice. So let's take a comfortable seat, and we are with intention updating our energies and our frequencies to stay on top with the ever-changing world around us, so that we feel like our days are going smoothly, things are happening just the way it's supposed to for us right here and right now. And we'll close our practice with a chanting Om with harmonium a little bit later. So from now, we'll take a comfortable seat. I'm sitting on a blanket to raise my sit bones, and maybe you do the same. Maybe you're sitting on a block. So however you'd like to sit, we're going to take our arms up to the sky and interlace the hands and turn the palms up and stretch their underarms and stretch the side body from hips to shoulders, and then we'll bring the rib cage in and send more grounding energies down through the tailbone and the sit bones too. And maybe we'll spread the pinky and the thumb up above us, and maybe we'll do a nice hug and extension of the elbows. And there is a wrist stretched right there. There is all kinds of things happening. Keep holding those ribs in and stay plugged in, so that we're not overextending the rib cage forward and pulling unnecessarily onto the lower back. Instead, we're hugging everything in to the center. We'll stay one more breath right here. And exhale, release, bring it all the way back down, and take our right arm up to the sky and coming into some lateral stretching, taking the arm straight up, sit bones down, and then maybe that right upper arm comes to the ear. You can bend into your left elbow slightly, sit bones down, one more breath here, and then gently take it all the way up and over, second side. Take the left arm up, sit bones down, rib cage in, ground all the way down, and then take that left bicep towards your ear and get into the side of the waist, into the lumbar area, to the heart-like structure we have into the lower back, and give a nice big opening and become fluid and become nice and open, so that we can update ourselves. Energies and frequencies. There's new ones every day to choose to invite in, and then gently come all the way back up, and then we'll come all the way up and over and do a little swing to the back and come up and over, and a little rotation or swing to the back and come up and over. And we'll do it 2 more times. Take that right arm up and a little rotation to the back and come up and over, and left arm up, open up, and one more each side. Untie knots in the lower back, in the waist, in the shoulder, between the rib cage. Last one, and then we'll come all the way back to seated. And from here, come to your back, please, and we're gonna either roll the blanket or put a block underneath. I'm gonna roll the blanket today and just make it into a nice, comfortable, kind of solid little ball. And it is a blanket, take a pillow, take a block, anything that works for you. And then I'm gonna put it underneath the sacrum and bring the knee to the chest. So I'm laying on to the blanket right by the sacrum, and it lifts the pelvis up, and we get ourselves into a nice hip flexor stretch. So we're going to start right there before we move on. So right knee into the chest and stretching your left leg forward, active stretching, quadricep and hip flexor, and plugging that right femur in. You can spread your toes and have the mound of the big toes kind of into the midline and rooting them forward at the very same time. We stay right here. One more breath. Nej, det funkar inte. You have to go lay down on your pillow. Go lay on your pillow. Thank you, I love you. Good boy. We'll take one more breath right here, hugging that right knee in, stretching the left leg forward, and then switching second side. Take your left leg, knee into the chest, and spread your toes, stay active in your legs, hug the mounds of the big toes forward and to the midline. So the legs are nice and organized and active. We'll stay one more breath right here. Inhale and exhale. Waking up the junction of the femur bone and into the hip socket. And then from here, we'll extend the left leg forward and the right leg forward and take supporting bridge. And maybe you're on a block or maybe you're on a thick pillow. Arms can come up and over. We take the elbows and get a full length stretch onto the front body. Hip flexors, lower belly, and quadriceps, and also all the tendons and ligaments that are into the hips and holding us together. Sometimes they become a little tight, so we'll take a supported bridge and untie the knots and update our frequencies. One more breath. And exhale, release. Hands to the sides, bending the knees, lifting the hips up, and taking your support for your lower back to the side. And then from here, feet down, hands onto the base of the femurs. You can press your femurs away from your hips. And inhale and exhale right here. So now the sacrum is onto the mat and the lower back is slightly lifting. Should be a nice rooting and grounding feeling. And then bring the knees into the chest and hugging it in, sacrum down, extend the lower back, untie knots in the lower back. And then from here, hugging and rolling it all the way up and coming to child's pose. Big toes together and knees apart. Stretching the arms forward. Active child's pose, lifting the upper arm bones. Reach the arms forward, sink the seat down. And come up to tabletop, please. Tuck the toes under, spread your fingers, second finger forward, claw the fingertips, plug the upper arm bones in, and then from there, pull the rib cage in. And notice how your hips follow along and align shoulders and hips in a nice rectangle. Tuck the toes, come to bent knee down dog, claw your fingertips. It's like you're lifting the heel of the hand slightly up, and it's like you're clawing the fingertips and elongating from wrists to elbows to shoulders to hips. And the sacrum is slightly lifted, lower back is concave, and the rib cage is holding in, and we're getting a nice full extension onto the spine. Take your right heel down and stretch your right ankle and calf out. You might even bend your right knee a little bit to get into that soleus and gastrocnemius muscles. And switch second side, take your left heel down, bend your ankle, your knee slightly, and stretch it a little deeper in towards the back of the left leg. One more breath. And then we'll come to down dog, either with bent knees or micro bent knees, and getting our heels down from the rib cage. And we only have another down dog after this. So from here, take your knees down to the mat, and we're going to come to shoulder stretch. So we're going to come all the way down onto our belly, please. From here, take your right arm out to the side and roll over onto your right hip. Kickstand your left toes back, knee to the sky, and stretch your right shoulder, bicep tendons, biceps, pectorals, and really just update the area in the chest and the shoulder. Giving ourselves a couple of nice deep breaths right here. One more breath. And gently come to the belly, and then we'll switch to the second side. I'm going to switch this way, but you can simply just roll over onto your left side. I just want to make sure that there is a clear instruction on what's going on with the arm. Left arm out and come over onto the side. So the palm is down and we're stretching the inside of the shoulder. Right toes can kickstand back and the head can come to the floor. A few breaths right here. Inhale and exhale. And gently make your way onto the belly, please. And then from here, we're gonna come up into tabletop and puppy pose with our arms forward, knees and hips are stacked, and the toes are tucked, and then we reach those upper arm bones up, all the way up. Inhale and exhale. And then from here, come back into tabletop, and we're just going to step forward to Uttanasana, forward fold. Feet hip widths apart, and exhale, hinge and fold. From here, you can take your peace fingers around your big toes. So we can have our peace fingers right here and elongate the spine, and exhale, elbows out to the side, top of the head towards the mat. Bring your shoulders away from your ears, please. Top of the head towards the mat. And one more breath right here. And then release the hands, and we'll step back and take anjaneyasana. We can come with the big toes together to start, and then step the left leg back and take the knee to the mat, and inhale, arms to the front, plug the upper arm bones in, arms to the sky, and then we come on forward into the outer hips, leaning forward and taking the chest up to the sky, and reaching from the hips to the shoulders, plugging the rib cage in at the very same time, so we feel connected from all the way from the feet all the way up to the fingertips, and we're hugging everything in and we're expanding everything out all at the same time. Muscle energy and organic energy happening, which is also can be described as spanda, which is when everything is just pulsating through the body, which is a great chance to update energies and frequencies into this nice new place for us, wherever it needs to be for today. One more breath, and then exhale. Take your hands down and take your left hand out to the side, maybe sinking a little deeper. Take your right arm up to the sky for quad stretch. You can take your right hand to your left foot and lift it up if it's available. Coming to that left quad. Inhale and exhale. Stay one more breath right here. And exhale, release arm and leg down. And then from here, take your hands down and step forward for Uttanasana, forward fold. Elbows to the side. And then we'll step the right foot back and put the knee to the mat and come to Anjaneyasana, low lunge, quad stretch. Yoga pose, arms to the front, pull the upper arm bones in, take the arms up to the sky, bicep to ears, and then we'll come forward in the outer hips and lift the heart, lift the heart, lift the heart, lift the heart. And plug the ribs, plug the ribs, plug the ribs. So all at the same time. And that's where that nice energy is happening, where we're hugging everything in and extending out at the very same time. And we'll stay here, make some good memories for that right quad, for the hip flexor, and breathing and reaching and just staying right here. One more breath. And exhale, release hands to the mat. Take your right hand slightly out and left arm up. And maybe we'll stay here or take hand to foot for quad stretch, Anjaneyasana, twisty turny. Press your hand and your foot into each other. Lift your heart. It can be a twist, or we can just simply have the heart forward and keeping it very basic quad stretch. It doesn't have to be a twist and a turn into every pose. So we'll just focus on the quad. One more time. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll take it all the way back down and step forward for Uttanasana. Forward fold, please. Hinge and fold. Top of the head towards the mat. And inhale, hands to hips and come to standing. And then from here, we'll take the hands in front of the heart for Namaste mudra, or simply hands to the heart. And then that feels pretty good, so we know how that feels. And then we'll take the hands out, the arms out to the side, and then hands behind us, and maybe find the elbows back here and see how that feels. And roll the shoulder blades up and back and open up into the shoulders. And then maybe there is a chance to bring the hands to reverse Namaste behind us, between the shoulder blades. So we go and see how that feels. Big toes together, heels slightly apart. And yes, we're opening the shoulders, but we're still at the very same time holding on to the front body and bringing the rib cage all the way in. And we'll stay right here for one more breath. Inhale and exhale. And release the hands all the way down. And then we're gonna step the feet wide apart. Feet wide apart, tuck the toes slightly in. Arms out to the side. Excellent, so we have a nice wingspan on our wrists and they're matching the ankles. So take a little peek and look and make sure that it is. And we'll stand right here. Bring the shoulder blades down on the back, turn towards your right foot and turn your left foot in as well. So your left foot is turned more forward than out. And then from here, we'll take our hands behind us for reverse Namaste mudra, bringing our rib cage in and turning our hips forward. Inhale, lift, shoulder stretch, wrist stretch. Exhale, hinge and fold. And here comes a big hamstring and back stretch as well. Parsvottanasana. Taking the head, the gaze can be over towards the second toe. You can do an abdominal curl if it feels comfortable, and if you feel grounded and it feels easeful, you can take your head towards your knee and you lift your elbows up towards the side like wings. And then we inhale and exhale and find the four corners of the feet and staying fully rooted and grounded. Hinging and folding. Parsvottanasana, stretching the legs, stretching the shoulders. One more breath. And then rooting into the four corners of both feet and coming back up to standing. And we'll take a little pause and take the arms out to the side and come back to the side. Nice. And shoulder blades down on the back, reach the arms. And then we'll take the hands behind us again and find our Namaste mudra, second side. Same side for the shoulders. It might feel different because we're certainly turning the hips a different way. So turn to the left. Left second toe forward, right foot slightly turned. Inhale, lift the heart, open the shoulders, but bring the rib cage in at the same time. And then from there, exhale, hinge and fold. Left hip, it goes back and right hip goes forward. Sacrum goes up to the sky, and we can stay right here and the gaze can be over towards the second toe. And we engage the abdominals. We still have the ribs in, big abdominal curl, and going and finding the edge and the stretch of our parsvottanasana pose. Inhale and exhale. We'll stay one more breath right here. And inhale, exhale, make your way back up and come all the way up to standing, and then turn to the center. And if you needed to, like me, I need to widen my feet again because they kind of snuck back in. So arms out to the side and then hands behind, and we'll come to feet wide apart, Prasarita Padottanasan. Roll the shoulders up and back, hinge and fold, and we have the sacrum lifted. And so the sacrum is slightly lifted here and the knees are unlocked, they're slightly bent. And then from here we can fold forward and take the arms up to the sky, reach the shoulders away from the ears, top of the head towards the mat. Shoulder opener, leg, full leg stretch, back and front hips. Inhale and exhale, releasing the head and the neck. One more breath. And release the hands to the sacrum, and then we'll take the hands to the mat, step your feet together and come to downward facing dog. Spread the fingers, lift the upper arm bones, pull the rib cage in and sink the heels down if it's available. You can always walk the feet in so it feels comfortable. You can be onto the toes and micro bend into the knees and get your sacrum and untie knots in the lower back by raising the sacrum slightly and then sinking the heels. Downward facing dog, your style. Inhale and exhale. And walking the feet halfway in, walking the hands halfway in, taking our hands behind the ankles. So the feet are hip width apart, hands are behind the ankles, and we're folding forward, elbows to the side, shoulders up and away from the ears, rooting the inner edges of the feet towards each other, hugging everything in, and extending out on the exhalation. One more breath. And release the arms and come down into Malasana. So take your toes slightly out. Widen your feet as wide as the mat and the toes slightly out. And then bending into the knees and coming with your hands to the heart. And we're sitting down and lifting the chest and releasing into the hips. After the big wide standing poses, we're hugging everything all the way in. So we stay right here, hands into our Namaste mudra. Inhale and exhale. Grounding our femurs, bringing health and vitality to ankles, to knees, to hips, to lower back. Lifting the heart. One more breath. And then release the hands. And then we'll come all the way down onto our backs. And we're going to come to fish pose to reverse those forward bends that we did. So we'll come all the way down onto the back. Take the hands underneath the sacrum. So the palms are facing down. The thumbs are touching. I like to have them touch and kind of bracing for the sacrum to be right into the kind of the thumb area. And you get it because it feels, you know where to put it because that's what your lower back is telling you. So you're kind of on your wrists, on your buttocks, lift the heart, pull yourself forward, legs straight forward, and then the top of the head towards the mat. And we're stretching out the neck, the shoulders, the chest, feet together, straight legs. One more breath right here. Drinking it in through the heart space. Any new energies, any new frequencies. They can enter from anywhere, but right now it's through the heart space. One more breath. And then we'll claw the fingertips and lift the head and come back down onto the mat and bring the feet hip widths apart. Arms can come out to the side, and then from here come to windshield wiper, knee side to side to side. And again, side to side. We'll stay one more side to side, massaging into sacral region, into our glute region, and then we'll bring the feet all the way together and ending with a twist, right leg over the left. And first bring the knees into the chest and hug it in. So in Gomukhasana, legs, feet are wide, lower legs are wide, and legs are crossed on top. One more breath here. And then the left foot comes down, and then we take the hips and lift them up and come over onto the left hip and twist over to the left side. Twisting into the whole right side of the waist. One more breath here. And undo the legs, and then come back up with the legs to the center, feet down. Lift the sacrum down to the mat. Take your left leg over your right, and then we lift the legs up, and we keep the sacrum down as best as we can, and have the lower back lifted and having that nice natural curve onto the spine, and the untying of knots in the lower back by hugging sacrum down, by having a slight lift into the sacrum, into the lower back area, and pulling the belly in and chest in as well. At the same time, it's all lifting up and away. So it's all about that, hugging in and expanding out. Full action into the body, which is a great way of releasing stagnant energy and updating our energies and our frequencies. One more breath, and then take your left foot down onto the mat and take and lift your hips. Come over onto the right hip and drop yourself over into a Gomukhasana twist, or just simply a supine twist. Shoulder blades can stay down, arms can be bent or straight. And we stay another breath right here. And undoing the legs, and then we'll come back feet flat. And I invite you to take your palms facing forward, lifting your sacrum, taking your legs out and finding your Savasana, letting all the poses we did find its right and whole place in our body, and aligning muscles, ligaments, tendons, the flow of the blood, the lymphatic flow, the meridian flow. Energies and frequencies are just being exchanged right here. So I invite you to stay here for a moment. You can stay here for as long as you like. And I'm going to get ready to get our harmonium playing, and then we'll chant Om together for 3 times to really get into that heart center and to stay and feel connected to ourselves with the sound of Om. You're welcome to stay in your Savasana. You're welcome to sit up with me onto your sit bones, connecting to your heart of earth, connecting to heart of source, from the root to the crown. We'll do 3 Oms together, nice and soft. Take an inhale. Take advantage and sit and bathe into the sounds and the stillness of the sounds that is still hovering around us. Connecting to heart of earth, connecting to heart of source, sitting nice and tall. If you're laying down, you take time to wake back up, moving your toes and your fingers, your head side to side, moving about the way you'd like to until you come to your seat. Take hands to the heart. Take a deep breath. We'll take 1 more breath. And then we'll take 1 more breath to make sure those energies and frequencies are landing right in this perfect and whole place in our body. Thank you for joining me for this Back to Basic Yoga. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Please feel free to share my videos with your friends, anyone who might need a pre-yoga practice. And I'll see you soon in the next video. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste.